What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Therapists Unmasked. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Sam.
And Sam, today is going to be a hard episode.
That it is.
I need to know you're going to be my emotional support for this one.
100%.
Awesome. Tell them what it's about.
So during today's episode, we touch upon the topic of grief and essentially how that has impacted our lives. So join us as we discuss how we are handling grief today.
We hope you enjoy the episode, and let's roll the intro. Hey, beauty.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
How are you feeling?
I'm excited for
I'm
this.
excited too. I'm excited too. Now, you and I share a bond in the fact that we lost our moms, right? The only difference is that you lost your mom at a young age. Yeah. How old were you?
I think I was 16 that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did she pass away?
Originally, she was diagnosed with cancer when I was in 8th grade. I never knew about it. So my family kept away from me. I heard it by one of the counselors in the middle school. It's like, how's your mom?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, she did. I was like, what do you mean? How's my mom? And then later on, like I found out that she's cured and stuff, that she's well. Like I said, my family never told me anything about what's going on with my mom when I was in 8th grade, right? Fast forward, when I was a sophomore in high school, coming back from the Philippines from vacation, I think that part turned really bad in my life just because my mom was like in and out of the hospital. And eventually my dad told me what's going on towards like she was almost like hospitalized. So then my dad told me that my mom had cancer and it spread it to her brain. They were diagnosed her non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4. And then I remember we were in, it was during the hurricane, I forgot which one it is.
Sandy?
I think it's Sandy. So my dad takes me and my brother to the hospital just to visit her. And then there was one time that my dad told me to stay in the hospital with my mom overnight, to spend time with her. However, she was not able to talk to me because I think she had trouble talking and eating. It was hard for me to like talk to her and stuff. I wanted to talk to her during that time, but it was hard. And then, mind you, me and my mom didn't have like that good a relationship too. I was really close to my dad. My mom was close to my brother and stuff. During that one night before she passed away, we were all in the hospital. My dad, my brother, my mom's aunt was there too. At night, I was sleeping. I had a dream about her. It was so vague. Like I remember seeing her face and I forgot what she said to me. But the next morning, she passed away. So that's short story, what happened to her.
So you were in the hospital with her when she passed?
Oh, yeah. Because they were telling us that she didn't have time. It was sooner or later that she was going to pass away. So we tried our best to like spend time with her.
What exactly were you doing in that moment when she passed? Did you literally see her as she passed?
So I didn't really see her as she passed. Remember I told you that dream?
Yeah.
I woke up the next morning and then my dad told me that she passed away. So I didn't really see her pass in front of my eyes. Yeah. My dad told me, and then me and my brother went to the room. We were like crying and everything. That time, like, I don't know, I was done. I felt like I have no one to look up to anymore.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, that's how we experienced her passing. It's like I didn't really see her. I just woke up and my dad told me what's going on.
Can you remember what you felt in that moment when you saw her in the hospital room?
Like my heart sunk so much. And then I hold her hand, telling her like I'm sorry, please forgive me. I prayed to her like, please like guide me. I didn't know what to do after that.
Of course.
I didn't know, like, how should I live without a mom.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do I do from here? Because I'm 16. I'm almost graduating from high school. Do I to keep living, or what do I do from this? Because I only have my dad, right? My dad is his only parent to me. It was hard to sink everything in when there was so much things going on. There was also family issues during that time. So it was a lot.
That makes me think of, when my mom passed too. I remember the first thing I did was hold her hand too.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget how cold she felt already.
Yeah.
And like how yellow she was. And I was upset with myself because I didn't visit her that whole week that she was in the hospital. Because I couldn't, my mom, she was always nicely dressed and makeup and all that stuff. And I couldn't bear myself to see her in the condition that she was. Because she really looked sick. So my heart also sank the second I saw her too, because it's like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Because your mom is your best friend. She's everything. My mom was the glue of my family too. So to know that we lost that, it kind of felt like the world was ending.
Yeah. During that time, I feel like I'm alone.
Yep.
I felt like I have to do so much things in order to keep this family going.
Yeah.
I felt like I'm the one who has to do stuff, take care of my brother, try and make sure I do well in school, make sure my dad is okay.
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest thing I felt during that time. I know my dad tried to be there for us too. He was trying to always bring my brother to school. He was trying to be there for me when I was doing my sports, my volleyball, attend to my volleyball games. He never did that before. my parents never watched me play basketball or volleyball. Maybe like once or twice, but like after my mom passed away, he tried to attend. Oh. He tried to like be there as a parent.
Yeah.
Which I was appreciative.
Yeah.
And then for my brother, I felt like I had to take care of him.
Of course.
It was kind of hard because I know my brother had it the hardest than me.
Because he's younger.
He was younger. He was the closest thing to my mom. So it was hard to communicate with him during that time.
I can definitely relate to that because, again, my mom was like the glue of my family. And, I have an alcoholic brother. And so to have to be there for him and make sure that he's not like spiraling, and to make sure that my dad is okay and he's not falling apart too, because his only best friend was her. He always depended on her. He doesn't really have anybody else. So to know that his best friend and his everything is gone, where does he go from there? When I came into the hospital room, the first thing he said was like, I don't know what I'm going to do without her. That definitely put a lot of pressure. Not him saying that specifically, but just knowing that like my mom, the glue of the family, is gone. That put a lot of pressure on me too, to have to keep everybody together. Yeah. And be the strong one of the family, making sure that nobody else around me is falling apart. I'm sure that you probably had to do that too. Be the strong one of the family.
Yeah, my dad was like your dad. Like my dad, we relied on my mom so much. My mom did everything for us. Yep. Planning financial things, making sure that we're doing well in school and we're taken care of. Yep. And then I remember my dad saying to me and my brother after my mom passed away, he said that we only have each other. That's like the one thing is like, oh wow, like I feel like I'm alone now because he actually said that.
I felt alone too when she passed. Yeah. Because I always talk to my mom about all the tea and everything. And it's like freaking weird to talk about it with your dad, especially about like girl stuff, like boys and all that. My mom knew about all that stuff. And again, it did feel lonely. I was in a really bad spot when she passed, and I had suicidal thoughts. I had just got my counseling license a week after she passed. Yeah. And my mom, months leading up to it, my mom would always ask, like, did you get it yet? Did you get it yet? Like, are you ready to start working as a therapist now? Did you get it yet? And I finally got it, and I was so excited, and I was so like looking forward to getting it. But then once it came, I'm like, I don't really care about it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't even matter. You know, I'm finally at the point where I want to be in my life, but it doesn't even matter because my mom's not here to celebrate it with me.
Because I feel like you had plans after getting licensed, right?
Yeah.
I had plans to do that too. And then like knowing that my mom wasn't there for me with my milestones, I had like expectations to make my mom proud before. So like everything I do, like going to school, going to work, like I always try to remind myself like I'm doing this for my mom. You know, I'm not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for my mom because she wasn't there during my milestones. And mind you, like me and my mom never had like, not never, but we don't have a good relationship because we always argue. Like the only last conversation I remember from her was us yelling at each other. I think that hurts the most because I never been good to her after. So it's like I live in regret about that moment when the last time I talked to her is that we ended in an argument. That was the last conversation. It wasn't like a good conversation saying I love you, how's your date? But now like I'm good. I don't live into that regrets anymore. I don't remind myself that I'm doing this for my mom now. I'm doing it for myself now. I still keep in mind to make my mom proud. Like I said, I'm doing things for myself. I'm living life for myself now.
So what would you say you do for yourself now?
If I want to achieve something, for example, like I'm in a process of wanting to do an ecology physical therapist. I want it for myself. I'm not doing it for my family or I'm not doing it for my mom. I'm doing it for myself because I want to do this. Or like another example is I want to move out somewhere. I'm doing it for myself. I'm not going to stay here because for my family, for my mom.
Honestly, I want to go back to the conversation we were just having.
Yeah.
You said that you had these regrets with your mom because you guys always fought. You did say that you're okay now, but I think that your tears say otherwise, deep down inside.
There are moments. I have moments. Right?
Of course.
There are always moments. But then
Always.
I always revert back to like, she's in a better place now. You can say I'm almost healed from what happened. I took like a retreat. It's like a church retreat. So my religion is Catholic. I took a church retreat for the weekend. And then they were just explaining their stories about like what they go through. And then the facilitators share their stories about how they gone through, how they lost their parents and stuff. And it resonated me. And then I reflected on what they said. That healed me a little bit because of what God impacted them and how God helped them through their struggles. So then I took another retreat last year, and that's where I actually almost healed from it. I forgive myself. Everything I do, I rely on God. I pray whenever there's something going on that I'm not comfortable or being overwhelmed, and I leave everything to Him. So it was the religion aspect helped me throughout my process of healing. There are times I'll cry about like that certain time that was me and my mom, but then I remind myself that my mom always loved me. She's okay in heaven right now, so do not worry about her.
Yeah.
But always remind yourself that she's always in your heart.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, when COVID happened, I feel like me and my mom's relationship completely like deteriorated because we were fighting a lot. A lot. And, we would say pretty harsh things to each other too. But that doesn't mean that you're a bad daughter, right? Because a mother's love is always unconditional.
Exactly.
Now, how have things been different since your mom passed? How has life been different for you?
In the beginning, I told you it was hard. I was doing so much things like doing sports, doing some extracurricular activities. I wasn't really home a lot because at home there was a lot of family issues too. I just want to stay away from it. So sometimes I hang out with my friends, go over to my friend's house. and stay there until 7 p.m. and go back home. I did dancing, and that took some stress out of me. Like I said, after the retreat, life got a little bit more easier for me. I feel I don't really have that baggage anymore. So yeah.
What do you miss most about your mom?
I miss her yelling at me sometimes.
That's a first.
She just my mom. She was so strict, and I kind of missed it.
Yeah, so honestly, sometimes I be missing my mom yelling at me too, man. And me and my dad like laugh about it now because she was so annoying when she actually did it.
Yeah.
But we're like, damn, like we miss her yelling around at us for no reason when she was so cranky or whatever.
Like, to be honest, I don't think my mom will like approve the things I'm doing.
Oh no.
Because how strict she is. But I just really do miss her yelling at me, you know?
What's one memory that you hold closest to you with her?
So one memory is me going out during Mother's Day, right? I don't know if it was during the time she had her cancer or it was her first or second. I don't know which one was it. You know the flower shop in Stelton Road?
Yes.
So I walked there. You know how far my house in that part, the florist there?
Yeah.
So I picked up flowers for her. I think it was like an orange tulips.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. And then she was so happy I got her like a flower. Because that was the first flower I ever bought her for Mother's Day. I bought her cakes before, but like this is an actual like flower gift I give her. Yeah.
I love that.
So that's like one memory like I hold dear the most to her.
How do you feel like her death affected your adolescence?
It affected me a lot because every time I go to places and see families are together, I felt like, damn, I wish my mom is here. Like graduation, right? High school graduation, undergrad and grad.
It's all those big.
Yes, I see families with their moms celebrating. Even Mother's Day was the hardest. Mother's Day was so hard.
It's definitely hard for me
The first is hard for me to like know that my mom's not here with me. So that's the hardest during my adolescence, seeing families with their moms enjoying their time together and seeing them their milestones while my mom didn't see majority of my milestones.
Is this career something she wanted you to do?
Well, basically, yes, because it's a healthcare field.
Okay.
But I remember when I was little, I told her I want to become a doctor. So physical therapy is a doctorate, right?
Yeah, no, you're a doctor. Absolutely. You're a doctor. You're good. Yeah. You're good. You're golden.
I know my mom, all she wants us is to like do good in school, to live a good life. That's she always says that to us. Do well in school to get a good life, get good grades so you can go to a good school. That's what technically she always tells me and my brother.
Speaking of milestones, though, like what milestones do you wish she was around for?
Everything, like the high school, right? First generation graduating from high school. First generation graduated from undergrad. And first generation graduate from graduate.
Love it.
I think I will love her to come to be here when she sees my graduate, because I think like that will be making her mostly proud.
Yeah. When you used to see other families, you would get really upset by it. And
yeah.
Do you still feel that way now? Does that still get to you now?
Here and there, like I see mostly like at home too, because my siblings, they have my stepmom, my dad. So I'm in my head, I'm like, damn, they're lucky to have a mom. Yeah.
How did it affect you when your dad started dating again and then got eventually remarried?
That one's hard.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
The idea of your parent dating somebody else, marrying somebody else that's not your mom.
Yeah.
So for me, right, the way I think of it is I'm torn, right? Because at the end of the day, my dad only depended on my mom. So he's on his own. He's on his own. And so I would want him to be happy. I would want him to find somebody else. But I also feel like I would compare them way too much to my mom.
Yeah.
You know, there is nobody like my mom. There's like no doubt about it.
But also there's a grieving process. Like, you know, it takes time. I don't, you may not feel the same way in like 5 years as you do now.
True.
That's very
I'm still torn with that idea though, because like I said, I guess it's because I'm still grieving and everything. I don't know. But I just know that like I hold my dad on a freaking pedestal.
Yeah. I know how you are with your
I
dad.
love my dad. So if he meets somebody else, I would be like, what is your name? What's your social security number? Like
FBI on the door. I need to know who you are.
Yeah, seriously, because I want somebody to be at least as half as good as my mom was to my dad.
Exactly.
You know, because obviously there's nobody like her, but I still would want somebody to treat him in the way that she did.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and I did tell him like, you deserve to be happy, though. You know, I want to encourage him because I wouldn't want him to be lonely and to not experience love again. And I don't know. I feel like I'd be a bad daughter if I just discourage that. You know.
Exactly. Like for if you think about it, like you're gonna get married soon, right, with someone, and then now you have to think about your dad. You're like he's gonna be alone.
Yeah.
I always think about that. Like I need someone to make my dad happy, because it's not fair for me that I'm happy while he's still grieving with that, because my mom passed away. So I think it's fair enough that he deserved to be happy. That's why I said, as long as he's happy, then I'm okay.
So I know in the Hispanic community, we have like our quinceañeras as like a really big event of becoming a woman. What is a very big event in the Filipino culture?
Debut is 18.
18. Okay.
18 years old. Yeah.
So what is that celebration like?
It's almost like a quinceañera.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's 18.
Yeah,
It's 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a lot of Filipino line dancing, so.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, rituals of changing of the shoes and all of that. What does that consist of in
the debut?
Yeah.
For us, from my experience, we do like 18 roses, dance with your like close guy friends or close uncles whatsoever, and then the last one will be your dad. And then we also do 18 roses, which is like the mother, sister, any like female close member to you. Changing like the shoes, I don't think we do that. But those two I do remember, is the candles and the roses.
Is you not having the celebration, did it have to do with your mom not being there?
So I had a choice. It was either a debut or a car. I chose a car.
Of course.
Because debut, like, you can only celebrate it once, and then
That's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
But a car can last for a while, so
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
get a car.
Now, I know you've hit a lot of milestones, right? Like you
Yeah.
have your doctorate degree. You're doing pretty well for yourself. You have good jobs. And what do you wish you can tell your mom right now?
I love her. I wish she was here. I wish she can see everything I'm doing. I hope I make her proud. That's about it.
In general, what surprised you about grief?
Being alone.
The feeling of
That
being alone.
being alone.
That was so. It's still for me at times is so strong.
Yeah. You don't know where to go, or don't know who to look to ask for help. Like, I felt like I was stuck in like a cave during that time when I first felt that grief.
So essentially, how did you end up kind of pulling yourself out of that feeling of loneliness and start to recover and start to, build your life again?
So I was out almost every day during that time with my my mom passed away. And then I set up myself some goals, what I want to do with my life. And then just surrounding myself with the people who wants to be there for me and wants to make sure I'm okay. I think that helped a lot, especially like majority of my friends, family, yes, I can say some of my family members, but majority of my friends are the ones who helped me who I am today. And then going through like I said, those church group that I just started last year also helped me going through like the loneliness, the time that if I have moments of regrets, times that I feel alone or I'm not worthy.
Have you ever gone to a counselor to discuss, or a therapist?
Most of my friends say I should. Most of my friends says I should.
What's your hesitation, Inah?
My hesitation, the majority, I think one is like time, because I'm so busy every day, but it's also another thing is being judged
By a therapist?
by a therapist.
Okay.
I think that was the most like top thing that I'm hesitate to go to a therapist.
What do you think?
Or like also like able to connect
with a therapist. That's valid.
Yeah.
But what do you think, like, what's your fear of being judged? Like, what do you think they could say that would make you feel like you are being judged?
It's like, what are you doing that? Or like, are you sure you're doing this? Or like questioning what I'm doing with my life, or saying I'm doing something wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, we're absolutely trained not to do that.
Yeah. I can never say you're doing this wrong. To Ashley, yes. To anybody else, no.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because as therapists, we want to be able to help you and support you in your decisions and not tell you that you're doing a wrong thing, but more to tell you, like, even if it's not the right decision, we still want to challenge you as like, are you sure this is the right decision for you?
Yeah.
I think it would be really beneficial for you, Inah.
Oh, I know.
I think so. So I see the tears. What's going on?
No, like I'm trying, like I want to go to a therapist, but it's just so hard. Like finding time is the hardest for me. And like
you work a lot.
I do work a lot.
Now that I remember, you work a lot. Hold on. What's your work schedule like? Let's talk about this.
What's the work schedule?
Yeah, what's your work schedule like?
And when do you find time for like your wellness?
She doesn't.
I don't. I mean,
that's all we're talking about.
Or what can you do to make time?
No, we're gonna figure this out. So we're gonna figure this out. So what's your work schedule like right now?
So there are days like I work full time, right? 4 days a week. Mm-hmm. I work 32 hours. So I used to be 40 hours in March, and I dropped to 32 just because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle like the productivity that we have to reach every week.
It takes a mental toll on you, I'm sure.
It does. And then the demands of like things that need to be done while I'm seeing this amount of patients every day. So that's why I turned 32 hours. And then my other job, like what I like my having per diem is I can work every other weekends. Like I at least work 2 weekends a month. So that's about it. I do personal training. So after my work, like Mondays or Wednesdays or Monday or Fridays, I go to personal training for an hour.
Oh, nice.
And then majority of like my free time is to try to catch up with work notes, and try to do errands. And at the same time, try to spend time with people who ask me to hang out with them too. So I'm lacking a lot of self-care at this point.
Yes. It sounds like also boundaries, at least like work boundaries.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Inah, because I overworked myself after my mom passed away. I worked 2 jobs and I was working from like 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. every day. And it was just a lot because as a therapist, you use your mental capacity like all day, every day. And it was a lot. So are you overworking yourself because you're trying to not think about things that you're going through and like, you know, deal with whatever issues you're going through, or you just really want to work and you want to make that money and all that?
That's technically the second part. What's also like draining to me during my full-time job is like I'm a physical therapist, but I'm also a counselor too at the same time because listening a lot of clients or patients' problems.
Yeah.
And then asking me to do some things for them because I go overboard what I'm supposed to do in my job.
How long have you been working at this job?
2 years.
Okay.
I graduated 2021 and then I started working October 2021.
Why are you overworking yourself, sister?
I feel like what that comes from my mom is from my mom because my mom, she worked a lot. She worked 16 hours a day. And I barely see her home because she works overnights. So I think I got that from my mom because she was always working. She's like a workaholic.
You said that your self-care is not there.
It's not there at all.
What do you think you can do better? You emphasize time too. So how can you make a little bit more time, even for your own mental health, even for your own sanity?
Yeah. I think I need to actually schedule a one day for myself.
Love it. We're starting good.
I've been trying to do that too. But then things comes up and all of that. So I didn't really get that time to get that self-care day. But then I know I have to actually plan ahead. Try and say no to everything and just use that day for yourself.
Yeah. That's important. Setting those boundaries, especially when it comes to work too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I also used to just like be working and doing a lot of documentation at home and no, you got to start setting boundaries for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I everything that I do it in the office.
I do that too now.
If not, I turn off my computer. I'm like, that is a tomorrow problem.
Yeah.
I've set those boundaries very early on, especially like with supervisors and my clients. Like I've set like work boundaries, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job sticking to them.
So it sounds like we got to work on you setting some boundaries for work.
Yeah.
All right, Inah. So what do you think you can do? Starting soon, like what do you want to do? What is something that you're willing to do to start making some time for yourself? Because I think it's a great idea for you to schedule at least a day for yourself to do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
Right?
One, I think just do not do any work after work. Don't do notes.
Do you think you'd be able to even like finish it at work, like, you know, for the next day at work?
That's the hard thing because the productivity we're seeing is hard. And then mind you, the patients that we have, wants to be 101. And there are patients I do see that I need to be 101 because they're like low level, meaning that they cannot stand or do anything because I have to transfer them.
Yeah,
that's the one thing. In my job, I work with a lot of neuros who are strokes, Parkinson's. I also treat oncology, but also has some neurodeficit, meaning that they're like half weakness. So I do transfer them also. There are patients also who wants you to be with them all the time. They don't want to work with anybody else but you. So it's the population I'm working with is hard.
Oh, that's fair. So with your notes and stuff, is that all due like the next day, or is there a specific time frame for when everything's due?
Because I'm working with 2 companies, right? I'm under this one company, the outpatient company, and they just 2021 they start parring with the hospital. The hospital says we need to get this notes done by the next day or 3 days, while the other company said you can get all these notes done by the end of the month. So there was no hard like middle ground of when notes to be done.
So we know your stance on therapy. It sounds like you want to go, you just need to find the time.
Yeah.
How does your family think about therapy? Do they have a positive view or negative view or just no view at all?
I never talked to that to my dad. But my stepmom, she's all for it.
Love that.
But from a Filipino who just came, who's an immigrant, I think he doesn't think therapy will benefit.
Yeah.
I think some people in my family are with it, but who are born here. But in the older generations, I don't think they really think therapy will be helpful.
Yeah, because they grew up in a whole different environment, and so they have their own beliefs.
Yeah, exactly.
So going back to what you plan to do to better your self-care, right? You did say that you want to just not do documentation at home.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd be willing to do at all?
Control the amount of patients
How many patients do you see anyway?
So,
oh, yikes.
either 22, 25.
Oh, wow.
But we considered cancellations. Cancellation rate in my end is either 3 or 4. But I have a high reintention, meaning a lot of patients still comes no matter what.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome, but it's also draining.
It's draining.
So you have a caseload of 20 to 25 clients a week?
No, a day. Per day.
A day? Oh.
Yes,
okay.
a day.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay. I have 20, 25 patients a week.
25 patients a week.
Yeah.
We usually have like a... It sounds nice.
That sounds
Poor
nice.
thing. No, yeah, we have at least like 30. The max is probably like 30.
30?
Yeah, a week. Yeah.
So about 5 to
Something
6?
like that. I can't do
Yeah.
math right now.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Clients a day.
Yeah.
But also, like, they see us for an hour.
That's true.
45 minutes to an hour. You know, it can be mentally. I at least have a client and then 15 minutes in between my second client to write notes. That way I don't have them like stocked up at the end of the day. But honestly, I'm the biggest procrastinator ever.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So I try and get them done as fast as I can.
I do want to emphasize the fact that we don't judge.
We're in no position to judge because we don't know you. We don't know what type of person you are. We don't know what you do. We only know like the bare minimum of what you tell us. And that is whether or not you decide to tell us the whole truth. You could be leaving stuff out, but regardless, if you do, that's on you. And it all depends on what you want to tell us. And if you feel like you're being judged, that's not a good therapist.
No. No.
That's definitely not a good
You found the wrong
therapist.
one.
You gotta keep looking. Keep looking.
Yeah.
Like I said before, therapy is a guidance. It's supposed to like show you how to better yourself, but it's also on you and what you're going to do to better yourself, and if you're actually going to make that action come true. If you don't, it's a waste of time.
Yeah. Do you have health insurance?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I wonder if when you're ready,
Yeah.
right? The least that you can do, even if it's seeing a therapist for like once a month or like once like every 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
You should definitely look into it.
That's true.
So we've talked about grievance of mother, but there's also different grieving.
Yeah.
There's grief of any relationship, a friendship, a romantic one, of a family one. There's also grief of like losing a job. There's many types of grief. So what do both of you do to overcome grief in general when it comes like any of it?
Samantha, not you interviewing me now. Well, for me, I still struggle with reaching out to people. I'm working on it, but I'm still struggling with it. Yeah, no, I'm definitely working on it. So that's something I do to help cope with my grief. Sometimes I'll have friends just come over and just have their company. Sometimes I won't even say anything to them, or we won't even have much of a conversation. I just want company, good company. So I'll have friends come over and we'll hang out and sometimes do nothing, which is absolutely fine. Sometimes I'll talk to my dad about it. It's still a little weird talking to my dad about my feelings and everything because I'm so used to talking about it with my mom, but I really don't have an option at this point. So now my dad is basically my mom and dad. So honestly, that's been pretty much all I've been doing in terms of helping with my grief, just talking to people as much as I can. But then there's also times, Sam, that I'll feel numb and too numb to the point where like I'll just keep everything to myself and just kind of deal with those emotions on my own. And obviously that just makes it worse, but because then I feel extra depressed and I have my days where I can't get out of my bed. I can't clean my room. My room is actually currently a mess right now. So I literally sometimes just can't function.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
I think the same thing for me. Just being around with people to help my grieves a lot. We don't have to talk about how I feel if I'm open to that, but like just spending time with them, having fun, get things out of my mind helps me go through it. And I do talk to one of my friends about how I feel, and that person had been helping me with like my problems if I need to vent out to things. And then just doing things what I like to do, like dancing, going to the gym, something like that, does helps me to not think about anything. Then.
Which then makes me think I also do boxing too. So like that's been like a really cool stress reliever too. Like cause like when you're in the gym or when you're doing dancing, you forget about all that.
Oh yeah.
And then you feel like a whole different person after you do the activity.
Yeah.
Right? So you know what? Yeah, that's also something that I do and it definitely helps a lot when especially on the days that I really feel awful and like most depressed. I'll go there. And even if I'm struggling to go there, I'll text my trainer and be like, tell me to go to the gym today, please. or a friend, tell me to go because sometimes I just
you need that motivation.
I can't. Yeah.
Fair.
I can't.
Fair. Yeah. I'm the type of person that likes to keep busy. If something is bothering me, if something is wrong, I do my most to like just stay active, do things. And it actually happened to me last year when I was going through the loss of a friend. And I just kept busy. I was like on a roll, just doing stuff every single day. I was also in the day, like I'm the type likes to be busy and be in the moment of when everything is going on, especially like not just like grieving the loss of the death of somebody, but also like friendships in general. Because let's face it, people come in and out of our lives all the time, especially people that are like really, really close to us at points. And so when that happens, it does take a toll and affects us a lot, whether we like to admit it or not. It's like, that person did me dirty. Oh, well, they're gone. It's for the best. But in reality, it still hurts and it affects us a lot.
Grief sucks, man.
It does.
Especially in the moments where it just hits you out of nowhere really hard, When was the last time you had one of those moments where like the grief just really hit?
I think it was like her experience last year me and my friend, we stopped being friends because of that person betrayed me. Second time betrayal.
Okay.
I did what she was doing, like being busy, like I said, doing things I like to do and stuff, just try to keep living. But there are times that I had moments of, damn, I really lost that friend I used to talk a lot and care about.
No, just like you too, in the process of losing one friend, I ended up losing 2 other friends.
Yeah.
And all that just hit all at once. And so just like you, keeping busy.
Yeah, I do remember that.
than with my mom. Because I thought about it. I was like, why I'm not grieving a lot? Like I did grieve because my grandma passed away, right? But why I'm not grieving so much compared to when my mom passed away? Yeah, because it's parental, right? At least she's my mom. But this is my grandma. She's family, blood. I live with her, see her every day. I talk to her. And I think because I did my best to see her every week, like once a week, because she was diagnosed with COVID in 2021, was hospitalized, went to LTAC, and then she was in a nursing home for the rest of the 2022.
Oh.
So then I tried to spend time with her during the beginning of her diagnosed with COVID. So I try my best to spend time with her every day. I actually spent a whole 3 hours, 4 hours watching a movie with her while she's in the bed. Like, she wasn't really oriented and stuff, but she knows who I am.
Yeah.
So that's a good part. So we just watched Filipino movies and stuff. The one thing I wish I did with my mom, actually, I wish I prayed with my mom. I prayed with my grandma couple days or a week before she passed away, because I know she was in that state that she was gonna go, and I took time for myself to I think it's time to let go soon.
Yeah. It also sounds like you weren't as blindsided by your grandma than you were with your mom.
Yeah.
But also you were mentally more prepared for your grandmother's passing than your mother's.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It was
but it also happens,
Yeah.
And also we expect it when with our grandparents, when they're in an old age, it's well, this is gonna happen at some point. With our parents, geez, we think our parents are gonna live forever.
My mom used to emphasize that all the time. Your parents aren't forever. I'm not going to be forever. I'm like, yeah. Shut up, Mom. Because you grow up with them.
Yeah. So you're going to be here. Yeah. You're going to be here for a while. My great grandma always said, I'm going to live till I'm 90. And sure enough, manifestation is real. She lived till she was 90. We were just oh my goodness. She had the best life. The doctors told her, I don't know how many times, you can't eat certain stuff. She ate it. She was like, I'm still here. I'm still kicking.
Let me ask you something, and I just thought of this too. Did you guys have a viewing for your mom?
pretty sure, yeah, we did.
Can you remember that time at all? What it was like to see her in a casket, and
it was so hard to accept that she is in that coffin.
Yeah.
I remember crying my eyes out. Every day we had a viewing, because I think we had 3 or 2 days of viewing for the wake. I didn't want her to be buried. I wanted her to stay right there so I can come visit her.
Oh my God, yes.
That was I was being selfish. So I was I wanted to see her every day. I don't want her to be buried. But then I know she has to go,
I know, how weird was it to see your mom hard as a rock, cold?
I know I was crying a lot. I remember I was praying for her. My grandma was pray for your mom, that she's for guidance, and that she will always watch over you and Chris and guiding you in your life. So I did, and that helped a little. I think what hit me the most is when we, in the funeral, we're in a church, and then you have to say something about your parent. That hurt.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was crying.
I'm sure.
I was bawling my eyes out about it. Reading while saying her I'm sorry, and then telling her I wish you're still here, being with us and watching how we grow up to a wonderful adults that you raised us.
Of course.
It was hard. It was hard to see her in a coffin.
Yeah. So they asked me if I wanted to see my mom the day before to see if she looked good. Because we were all right, she has to have her hair this way and her makeup like this, so they were cool enough to let us see her the day before. And I remember I wanted to go alone. I'm I'm okay, I just want to make sure she looks good, that's it.
Okay.
But then my aunt was no, bring somebody with you, because you're probably not going to be okay after it. And I went with my sister and my uncle. And I remember it was like so dramatic in the way that they like opened up the sliding doors to the room that she was in. It was just so weird. I felt so numb in the moment though. Like I felt like I couldn't like cry. I couldn't feel my emotions at the time. But I was like, she looks good though. You know?
As long as she's good at what she's doing.
So I hadn't seen her be all dressed up and everything in a long time. So it was nice to see her like that, you know, because she was always sick. And, you know, I remember the day of the viewing when I walked in. I remember I walked in and I went into where the slideshow was. I literally fell to my knees and I started bawling. My aunt had came and she hugged me and you know, everybody hugged me. And my dad had already got into the room where my mom was, and he was like screaming, bawling. And I remember when I came in to see her, I was also crying. But for the rest of the time, when people started coming in, it was so overwhelming. There were so many people. So many people. I felt so much anxiety that there was like so many people in the room where she was in that like I couldn't do it. So I sat mostly where the slideshow was.
Yeah.
Because it was just too overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
And like literally I was like, I have a headache. I can't be here. And I still have that regret today. I wish that I was able to enjoy her presence more than I did that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel like part of me also feels like I kind of like suppressed that day in general, that like and I swear to you, I can't remember what she looked like her face.
Yeah.
I remember the outfit because I remember me
Yeah.
and my dad chose all that, like her hair, everything, but just like her face, I can't remember it.
Do you appreciate everyone who came in, like the
Oh my
amount
God,
of people
yes.
that like came in, like wow, I didn't know how much impact that my
Yes,
mother made with these
that
people.
made my heart so happy. And especially with you guys
Yeah.
too, and you and Jovan and Christy, like I hadn't seen you guys in the same room together for like 11 years.
Yeah.
So to see you guys all show up for me after so many years, like that was everything to me. Seriously. So it's times like that where I'm like, wow, my mom was so loved, way more than she thought. She was struggling emotionally. Everybody loves you. Yeah, but I did definitely appreciate everybody that showed up, because it just goes to show like how much they cared for us, and those people, a lot of those people were really there for us throughout that time.
Yeah.
After she passed too, you know? So it was awesome to see that. But I do focus more on the fact that like, damn, I wish I just enjoyed her presence more, you know, because I remember by the end of it, I was like, damn, like I wasn't even there for that long, you know, to actually be there and hang out with her, you know. And
I remember, I remember you being outside, and when I came in, I was like, "Why aren't you inside?" And we're like, "Oh, there's just a lot of people here,
Yeah.
and I want to, you know, just be out here." And I think I dragged you inside at one point because I was like, "Let's go in together."
yeah, it was rough. It was also the emotions of just like seeing her there. It was
Yeah.
just weird. She literally looked like she was sleeping, so like it was just weird.
You just want to wake her up, but
yeah,
it's like
yeah, right.
you want to wake her up. Like, all right, mom, like come on, let's go.
For real, man. So it was, yeah, I don't know. I still have those regrets though, that I just didn't enjoy her presence for the last time more than I wanted to. Yeah. Now, I'm going to end it with this. I want you to complete the sentence for me, okay? No one knows what grief is until
Till your heart is finally sunk into a deep hole, that you're stuck in a cave. You don't know where to go at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me, no one knows what grief is until you find yourself going to their tombstone, crying and begging for them to come back. Yeah. That is probably like the most gut-wrenching thing that I've been going through in the last year. that she's been gone. I wish she was just around just to talk to her. I wish she was around to see what I'm doing now in terms of work, because she's always wanted me to work in schools, and now I work in schools.
Yeah.
You know, I wish she was around for all that stuff, especially during my tough times in my life, like getting out of a relationship and stuff like that. Like, I wish she was around for that. You know, I wish she was around just for that motherly comfort, love, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't have that anymore.
But here's the thing, though, and kind of going with what we were talking about last week a little bit, in terms of spirituality, like religion and stuff, they're not truly gone. They're always going to be protecting you. They're always going to be around. Whether you feel it or not, they're always there. And then if you are religious, if you believe in a higher power or in any type of spirituality, then that comfort of knowing that they're always going to be there will help you.
Yeah.
No, in any time that you just feel either praying or talking, going to, whether you want to do it at your house, in your car, at a church, like, it doesn't matter. That's your form of communication with them, and knowing that they're with you at that time. And also the fact that you gained a guardian angel.
That spiritual, like being Catholic, helped me a lot with like process of the griefs and losing my mom. That's why, like, every time I visit her on Sunday, I actually talk to her like she's there.
Yeah, I do
talk
too.
to her like, oh, what's going on, what's been on my mind, and just and also like praying to the higher of that, to for her to always guiding me and stuff. I didn't say this when we were talking about when I took the retreat last year. There was a time that there was like an event that we were asking for forgiveness for the people who have hurt us, right? And then we have a shepherd. So a shepherd helped us to guide through our religious life. So before I met my shepherd, when she was about to tell me to forgive these people and stuff, like saying, I love you, I forgive you. That's what I'm supposed to say whenever who she says, like mom, dad, brother, whatsoever. So before she said that, like before the forgiveness part, she said, your mom said to me that she's okay in heaven. She loves you, so don't worry about her. So that's like, I think that time helped me get over the grief of her, passed away. And that's why I said I feel like I'm okay now, ever since after that Pacific event. So like now I'm like, okay, so that's why I said now I start living my life a little bit more for myself now. Not doing for her, but for myself, but still trying to make her proud, but still.
It's crazy how comforting it is to be talking to your mom when visiting her at the cemetery. Like, it's so comforting. I don't know, like I do feel like my mom is there and she's like listening, and I do talk to her too, like how I always normally talk to her. There's so much comfort in that.
It is.
We're so lucky to be able to have that, like we're so lucky to be able to have that, the fact that like they have a tombstone there, and the fact that we can go, because some people don't have that.
Oh yeah.
Some people have to go back to their country and be buried there.
Yeah. Now, where's your mental health at today? If you can rate it from a 1 to a 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, where's your mental health at today?
I think 5.
Where did it start?
Where did it start?
At the beginning of today.
Of today? A 1. It's been like a 1, but now like talking to you guys about what's been going on was a 5. 5 because of like my work life, but then like
there's 2 scales to our life. I know. That's what we do. We do, at least at my job, we have like a wellness check, and people are like, a 7 here, but like a 1 in my personal life. Just to be clear.
Now 5 is mostly because of your work, right?
Yeah.
What about personally?
Personally,
Let's take work out of the picture for a second.
Let me take out work for a picture. You said 10 is the best, right? Yeah. I could say like a 7 or 8.
Cool.
Yeah, 7 or 8. That. But it's just 5 for work. Just like,
you know what? Work is never going to be perfect. It's work.
No, yeah, work is work.
But I think the important thing is that you need to just work on that balance and knowing your boundaries when it comes to work, because if you continue doing what you're doing, you are going to burn yourself out, sister.
I know.
I've experienced it.
As have I. As
Yeah.
have I.
It's not fun.
No, it's not. And then you start questioning whether you really want to do this. And I'm sure you've had those moments already, because knowing that you work like crazy hours and stuff. That's why it's important to set those boundaries for yourself, though.
Yeah.
So hopefully we have that engraved in your head now.
Oh, you guys did. I promised myself to take a day off. I mean, not take out, take a self-care day.
No, seriously, do it.
Good. Do it.
No.
Do it.
It was great having you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I think this is a great conversation. I hope that it helped motivate you to make some change.
I know it did.
Good.
Like, just talking about, like, Ashley seeing a therapist and, like, talking about my mom. Like, I haven't talked about my mom in, like, a couple of days, but then, like, Ashley talking about her, what I went through. It's like, wow, I'm revisiting my life before. I haven't talked about it in a while.
How's it feel to reflect on that right now?
It's hard because I couldn't remember a lot of things, but then just like trying to imagine myself how I was in that moment, it was like, wow, I actually felt that way. You know, it was nice to talk to you about it, since we almost have the same experience, but yours is fresher than mine.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But it's nice. I'm glad that we had this conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to help you out in some ways.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends and family. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.